What is up, guys, and welcome back to another video. Today we're reviewing another F1 Esports onboard from Dani Moreno, Mclaren Shadow, so shout out to those guys. You guys really enjoyed the first video that I did, how tough is it to race in F1 Esports. If you haven't seen it, go check it out, but this one is focused on the British Grand Prix Silverstone, where Dani ended up fighting for the win. So let's roll into the footage now, and please like, subscribe, and let's get into this video. British Grand Prix. This is round number 7 of the F1 Esports Pro Series, and it's 5 red lights, and away we go for the 7th round of the championship. And straight away, it's a great start from Dani Moreno. Gets up the inside of Simon Weigang down in its own one. Nearly had Manuel Biancalila heading down into there as well. He goes round the outside into turn 3, have the inside for the next left-hander, and he gets past the AlphaTauri driver. A bit of leaning on the exit there, but the move is done, and now Dani can focus on the 2 Ferraris just up ahead on the medium compound tyres. So yeah, this is the British Grand Prix. This is Silverstone. Personally, this is a circuit that, oh my goodness, look at that up the front.
Come on, let's fucking go.
Yeah, great start from Dani. There will be a bit of swearing in this video, just FYI. But the British Grand Prix, I don't like racing around this circuit anymore. I feel like the cars are just too fast around here. It feels a lot like an oval circuit. And what I mean by that is that you're flat out for far too much of the lap. You barely have to brake for many of the corners. The only heavy braking zones you have are braking into the 3rd to last corner, which we're coming up to in a second. Here, this is only a light dab of the brakes. Downshift a couple of gears, and you're through. But here, this is a heavy braking zone into this one, and then braking for turn 2, turn 3-ish is the real only opportunities you can properly charge up your ERS. And so, as a result, you just struggle to use any overtake around here.
No!
As we can hear James having some issues further down in the pack. I believe he had a tangle with Bono Huis in the Mercedes, unfortunately, so that put an end to his race. He's now dropped down to last. Had to make an early stop, and yeah, taken out of contention early, unfortunately. But back to the battle up the front, and for the first few laps, things are going to be pretty stagnant as everyone is just driving consistently. That's the level that F1 Esports is at. No one really makes mistakes, especially early on. No one's got nerves, which is pretty miraculous, to be honest, given that everything that's at stake, the 20 best drivers in the world going at it.
Okay, I'm beating this lap again. Copy.
And Dani is opting to stop at the end of this lap. So he started on the medium. He's going to finish the race on the soft. He's going to go a really long way on this soft compound tire, and the reason for that is because of what I said, because it's an oval circuit, and when you're in a DRS train, it is so tough to make progress in these races. So much so that track position is really important here, oddly enough. So what Dani is doing here is he's going aggressive in order to get the track position, and then hopefully he can hold on to it at the end of the race.
What happened, James?
Bono basically took me out. Yeah. Basically
Copy.
took me out. Yeah.
Just do what you can, buddy.
Copy.
2.6 seconds stop there for Dani. Again, got nothing on Marduk Motorsport.
Big push, Dani.
And big push indeed is required because no one else has really dived in this early. Simon Weigang is in pretty early for the soft, as is Brendan Lee, but they're a little ways behind Dani. So he should hopefully be able to go maximum attacked and not really worry about being attacked himself from behind. He's not vulnerable to anyone. So now is the time to push, to use up any ERS that you've got and basically just push flat out for as long as you can, qualifying style laps, just to get that track position. So yeah, we'll see how it works out for Dani, how it works out for Simon, for Brendan. Simon and Brendan, I'll keep a good eye on them and see how the strategy works out for those guys. But you would expect the soft to really kind of die off at the end, given that there's a lot of high-speed corners at Silverstone. But if he's saved by slipstream, anything's possible.
Still not beating the Ferraris.
And yes, they are staying out another lap. The reason why Danny is keeping an eye on them is because they were the two cars immediately in front of him prior to the first pit stop.
Beresnay and Floris, the only cars to pit that lap, Danny.
And those guys were behind Danny. So with the undercut going onto the soft, Danny is going to jump them, stay ahead of them, more like. But there's a good chance that Danny's going to be able to get both Ferraris here because the delta between the soft and the medium is at least half a second, I would say. And, you know, even though the Ferraris... No, they're not getting pulled along by slipstream. The Ferraris are kind of out front at the moment, not getting slipstream, not getting DRS, so they're probably going to be going a lot slower than Danny at this phase of the Grand Prix, so that could be a major mistake on the Ferrari's strategy side.
What's the delta like with the Ferraris?
The Ferraris are losing time to the Red Bulls. On that last lap, they were 6/10 off. Longuet, Kiefer and Tourmalet in.
Okay, so the race leaders are in. Longuet was the race leader along with Freddie Rasmussen. They're all contesting for the race win. So this will be a good opportunity to see how much Danny has gained on those guys, given the early undercut to softs.
The Ferraris need to come out behind these guys. If they come behind Danny, oh, it's really good.
Yeah, if they rejoin behind Danny on fresher soft compound tyres, they'll have to work really hard to get in front of Danny. Or they might not even do it at all. As you can see, Marcel Kiefer rejoins behind Dani Moreno. And Danny rejoins just behind the effective race leader of Nicolas Longuet. And he's on the medium compound tyres for the rest of this race. So, for the immediate future, Danny is going to have the pace on the effective race leader and is going to be thrusted into this fight for the lead. And even crucially as well, he's going to be in the slipstream, he's going to be in the DRS of the Renault, which will allow Danny to actually recover a bit of ERS for the time being. So this strategy has really worked in the favor of the McLaren driver. And yeah, that's the reason why the title of the video is what it is. But we've still got a few pit stops to play out. Both the Ferraris are coming in around about now. Imagine both Ferraris coming in at the same time. One of the Ferraris are in, so too is one of the Red Bulls.
So Freddie and Benito in, Sinitsa has stayed out. By my calculations, the Ferrari will come out in the pack behind.
And yeah, that's going to be a big rip for those guys, because even though they'll have fresher tyres, it will be very, very hard to pick your way through a massive DRS train. You know, the group behind is 2-3 seconds back.
Longuet pushing. Longuet pushing. Wanna let Fred in front.
And of course, Longuet is pushing because he's battling with Freddie Rasmussen and he had the undercut. And unfortunately for Longuet, he hasn't broken outside of 1 second. So it's going to be a bit of a slog for the rest of this race. These two on medium compound tyres, albeit relatively fresh. They shouldn't have any tyre wear concerns for the rest of the race. Danny, however, well, we'll see. We'll have to wait and find out. There's still 10 laps to go, and Danny has already been on these tyres for 4 laps. So that's a bit of a concern. However, he is getting pulled along with DRS, so his pace is better.
Where are the Ferraris? Where are the Ferraris?
Miles behind.
Yeah, Danny's pace is better than what it will be. As long as Danny can stay within the slipstream, within the DRS of the race leaders, he'll get pulled along. He'll stay ahead, potentially, of the group behind, and hopefully won't get dragged into that fight. Now, he's got to stay really close to these guys and then hope that at the end of the Grand Prix, these two start fighting. That'll be the game plan for Danny, to see if he can pick off some of these guys. But for the time being, Danny will still have the pace.
Is Danny's group catching? Danny's group catching?
Negative.
It'll only be in about the final 5 laps or so where the softs will start dying off, and then the delta of the medium and the soft being about the same, and the medium will come on strong in the final few laps. But for the time being, Danny's going to have good pace, and he's just sitting in behind, charging up his ERS, waiting for the perfect moment. Hopefully not taking too much life out of his tyres, trying to save a little bit of life for the end. He doesn't need to worry about Marcel Kiefer behind. He's got a penalty of some kind.
Oh, I can make a move on Freddie. It's taking too long.
Interesting. Yeah, so Freddie is taking his time. We know that Freddie is, well, he's a pretty conservative driver. He often doesn't go for moves when arguably maybe he should. So perhaps needs a little bit of aggression. But at the same time, Freddie is going to try and win this race the best way he possibly can. And the best thing for him to do is, I guess, stay behind in second place, still continue to charge up his ERS, not burn too much fuel. He's actually going for it now as he goes round the outside, heading into Cops. Stowe. No, it's Stowe. I always get the corner names wrong. I say this every video at Silverstone. But there you go. Freddie makes a move, and he's into the lead of the race. But if you think the battle for the win is one and done there, you will be mistaken, because the Slipstream and DRS has other ideas. Yeah, that's why I said it's better to be in P2. If you're in the lead, you're having to do all the hard work yourself, trying to use a little bit of ERS to stay ahead, using rich fuel mixture, etc. There's Danny's first warning of the race for track limits. 2 more of those, and he'll have a 3-second time penalty, and we'll be joining the Marcel Kiefer penalty gang. But yeah, it's interesting to see the two strategies playing out between the two race leaders. Longuet taking this opportunity to save a bit of fuel and ERS possibly, but yeah, it's a tricky one whether you want to lead or be in second. In a pack like this, it is better to be in P2, but any further back than P2, and then you can often get stuck, as Danny gets another warning. That's his second warning in as many laps. So 1 more warning, and Danny will have himself a 3-second time penalty, and he'll get sent back to Narnia. Well, pretty much out of the points is what I'm trying to say, because the field is so close. Look at that massive train behind, just going through Stowe now. It extends to probably like P15. And this is why this strategy is so good, because Danny got himself into some clear air early, put in some qualifying laps, got himself some track position, and now he's just piggybacking off the race leaders, using their Slipstream and DRS to stay ahead.
Where's Jarno?
P10. Jarno is not a concern in this race, Danny, don't worry.
So that is one less thing to worry about in this race. Now, this is the final 4 laps of the Grand Prix. This is where Danny's tyres are really going to start feeling pretty average. But conversely, the two race leaders are going to start squabbling now. They're going to start positioning themselves for where they want to be in the final few laps. Those who have charged up their ERS will want to be leading from the front by about now. But never say never. These two guys will certainly fight tooth and nail to stay ahead of each other. These two were former teammates last year at Red Bull in 2019. They won the Constructors together, and Nicholas left Red Bull to join Renault because he wasn't getting enough seat time. And look at him now. He is flourishing in these conditions, leading the Grand Prix, just getting ahead or staying ahead of Frederick Rasmussen as we head into the final few corners. We're heading on to the penultimate lap of the Grand Prix, and you can just tell the intensity has just kicked up another notch. But Danny's still waiting for that perfect opportunity to have a go. He's got a decent amount of ERS to utilize, just under 40%. If you go pretty much hot lap and overtake the whole lap, you'll use about 50% of your ERS. So hovering it around this level, heading into the last lap, he'll be absolutely golden.
Just be aware of the battle in front, Danny. They have history. They will race hard.
And there we go. That alludes to what I was saying just before. These two being former teammates, Frederick Rasmussen, Nicholas Longuet, both piloting their Red Bulls to Constructors' glory in 2019. Now in different teams, and are wanting to prove themselves on the greatest stage. So let's see what happens as we've got just under a lap and a half to go in this British Grand Prix here in Silverstone. Freddie is getting very, very close to Nicholas as we run through on this penultimate lap. He's probably going to try and go for the overtake here on this very straight, the hangar straight. Maybe go around the outside into Stowe and then see if he can hold on to the lead for the final lap. Here he goes, round the outside at Stowe, and he's trying to make it work. Nicholas is going to squeeze him out, probably give him a warning for track limits for good measure as well. He has the inside for the left-hander. Look at the squeezing going on. This is going to allow Danny to have a go as we head on to the last lap. It's side by side. Danny gets Freddie, and now he has a look at Nicholas Longuet up the inside, but backs out of it. Nicholas was probably going to cut him off as well. As you can see, Freddie goes round the outside of Danny off the track and gets himself a 3-second time penalty. So both the Red Bulls are out of contention to win this race. But Freddie, I think he's probably just going to try and ruin or try and spoil the day for Nicolas Longuet here. Try and finish ahead of him on track. Maybe take this to the steward's box after the race and say that he was squeezed off and that's why the penalty should be removed. So he's still going to go for this. He's not going to give up his Frederick Rasmussen, but neither is Dani Moreno. The watching brief in P3. If these two tangle, Dani is going to come through and steal this win. So here we go. We're into the third sector of the lap now. Final few more corners to negotiate. And Freddie is right up the backside of Nicolas Longuet. Great exit for him. Not so good for Dani. He's a little too far away to challenge on this last lap. But if these two tangle, like I said, anything is possible. Here goes Freddie. Same move as last lap. Nicolas defends the inside. Again, they go off the track and anyone could win the race at this point. But we're heading into the final two corners. Dani, either way, is going to get a podium. What a race!
Oh, yes! 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 Come on! Yes! 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 Let's fucking go! Yes!
Come on, Dani!
Yes!
Come on, Dani!
Yes! Let's fucking go! Woo!
What a drive! What a drive!
Let's fucking
What
go!
a drive!
Let's go!
My word. That is one of the greatest F1 esports battles, one of the best finishes I've seen in this series to date. And yes, I'm heavily biased because he's one of my drivers, but it doesn't matter. That is absolutely incredible. Those two, Nicolas and Freddie, fighting tooth and nail, trying to get the victory over each other. Here's the replay. This is heading on to the last lap. This is where I had my heart in my mouth. When I was watching this live a couple of months back, I thought Dani was going to steal the win right here. But he actually had the presence of mind to back out of it. I don't think I would have backed out of it if I was him, and I probably would have got spun. That just shows, that's just maturity there from Dani. Fair play. But then we continue on. The battle rages on into the final two corners. I think of X-Matty G and TRL Limitless fighting like crazy down into here. Very similar scenario. Freddie gets squeezed out by Nicolas, and that allows Dani, penalties or not, to get P2 on the road. And that is the best result for a McLaren Shadow driver to date. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you smash a like button. Subscribe to the channel if you're new to see plenty more racing game content. Freddie ended up in 6th place with the penalties. So too with Marcel Kiefer down in P7. Brendan Lee ended up in 10th place on the same strategy as Dani Moreno. Simon Weigang did better in P4 there. So the early undercut onto softs was a decisive strategy move in the end. Fair play to whoever came up with that. But guys, thank you so much for watching. I have another absolute banger of a esports video to show you. It's the greatest comeback ever, and it's at Canada. I can't wait to show you. Until then, I'll see you next time.